I'm a little late on this, but I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and I think it brings up some interesting questions. A few months ago, Iron Maiden settled a lawsuit for an undisclosed amount over alleged stolen music. And after listening to both examples, it's pretty clear that Steve Harris, the main songwriter in Iron Maiden, stole music and lyrics from the English prog rock band of Beckett, specifically their song Life's Shadow. The verse lyrics in Life's Shadow are taken line by line and inserted into the fan favorite Iron Maiden song Hallowed Be Thy Name. And the bridge section to Iron Maiden's song The Nomad sounds way too similar to the ending of Life's Shadow. Go listen to it. They sound too alike. It was disappointing to me, obviously because I'm a huge fan, but I thought it brings up the question, do great artists steal? The common saying goes, good artists imitate and great artists steal. And according to Quote Investigator, which seems like a fairly reputable source, the first instance of that quote was actually the opposite, which was said by Alfred Tennyson, a poet in the early 1900s or late 1800s. Great poets imitate and improve, whereas small ones steal and spoil. It wasn't until the famed poet T.S. Eliot wrote about it, where it became closer to that modern saying, where he said, one of the surest of tests is the way in which a poet borrows. Immature poets imitate, mature poets steal. Bad poets deface what they take, and good poets make it into something better, or at least something different. The good poet welds his theft into a whole of feeling which is unique, utterly different from that from which it was torn. The bad poet throws it into something which has no cohesion. I think what he says there is true for all artists, not just poets. Of course, there's been a million examples of musicians copying each other. Another big one that comes to mind was Led Zeppelin's lawsuit, where they were caught stealing from Willie Dixon and Howlin' Wolf, 50s blues artists, on multiple songs on Led Zeppelin 2. So it just shows how much influences can shape music and sometimes outright steal. They also settled out of court for who knows how much money. I think it's true, though. You have to understand an artist's influences to understand their own work. For example, in Shakespeare's time, there were no copyright laws or sense of ownership over work because you sold the text to the theater or the person who prints the actual text. How can we know how much was originally Shakespeare's words after the editing process and the actual printing process, because they had to alter the words? And it's hard to tell who he was exactly influenced by, except for, his mentors, and he did collaborate with some playwrights. So, of course, he's not going to be this truly original person that some people may think he is. Yeah, he was amazing, but he obviously had his own influences also, which could be from historical texts or from Greek playwrights. But it's just hard to tell, because obviously it was so long ago, and the line between authorship and inspiration has always been muddled, going all the way back since the written word. So, and then just bringing it back to music, what about beat sampling then? I mean, it's an art in itself to take something like a piece of an already existing work and make it into something different, like a collage of sorts with, just piecing something together to make another song. I think it looks better nowadays when there's at least an acknowledgement that they're referencing or alluding to something that's not original, but it mostly doesn't turn out that way. Sometimes it does. That brings up another question for me then. Is there ever an original idea, or is everything just a mashup of influences from, that are recycled over and over again? As for Steve Harris, he knowingly took those lyrics and he made it fit into this whole other thing of a gallows pole tragedy, and it became one of Maiden's biggest songs. And even if you look at movies, Quentin Tarantino built his whole film career off being referential and indebted to his influences. and that in itself is his style. I think influences like that give the artist generally the impetus to create and make something new, which is, I don't think, ever a bad thing. And how much the artist takes from the influence is, a case-by-case basis. So I don't know if I can condemn Steve Harris on stealing those lyrics and the music, which is crazy, from the same song, by the way. But it was a known fact that he was hugely influenced by prog rock like that. So I don't know. It's hard to put my thoughts together on this one. I can guarantee you, though, that idea theft will never end as long as we have the need to express ourselves and look to outside inspiration. And I think T.S. Eliot really hit it on the nose when he was saying good artists steal and create something different and unique from the original source, while the bad ones, make something that has no cohesion whatsoever. So I think Hallowed Be Thy Name was different from the original, and they both can stand on their own. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to put these thoughts into order, like I was saying. But I thought it was just an interesting discussion, and I know I'm just skimming the surface. You could probably talk about this for hours, and I know what is original thought or anything like that. I want to know what you pals think of this. Do great artists steal? Tell me in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers, pals.